Previously on Horsepower Wars, Team Bodie got hit with 50 pounds of extra weight and paid the price for their ported cylinder heads. Team Stinky Pinky fell a little behind the other teams with their teardown and chassis mods. Team Biggin put their heads down and finished their roll cage and drivetrain before anyone else. Dwayne from the Dream Team may have bit off a little more than he could chew with his trash talk. Team Bodie came out on top of the taco eating contest with a free nitrous kit from NOS. And the Dream Team came in dead last and had to be chained together for 2 hours. Only the winner of the competition gets to keep their car. The other 3 are on the chopping block to be given away after shakedown at the summit. The car that'll be given away is anyone's guess. There can only be one winner. This right here is Horsepower Wars.
What would you do if I gave you $10,000 and said build the fastest car you can to go down the drag strip? My friends, welcome to the $10,000 drag shootout.
4 teams, 10 days, a $10,000 budget, 1 race with everything on the line, 1 winner.
Got our work cut out, good.
I will take whatever we can get, dude.
Man, they didn't say anything about getting a tetanus shot.
Some of the most phenomenal talent you ever seen in your life.
You got me stacked, Jake.
Them boys are in trouble.
If we're not getting this head for this price right now, we're done.
This is going to be a great competition because the next few days is going to determine who's going to be on top.
She ain't pretty, but you ain't got to be pretty to be fast.
So on Friday, it was clear the Dream Team was having some issues and some drama, just some inter-team difficulties. A team meeting closed the Dream Team's house for the weekend, as team leader Jeff Reed had to talk to the team about pulling in the same direction.
Well, it's not really Team Dwayne. It's Team Dream Team. We're actually going to have a meeting about it tonight at the house, so.
The team meeting? For who?
There is no doubt that Dwayne is the outspoken one, but he's also a strong leader. The guys do know that he has their back.
There was tension, and I was voicing my opinion about it. Me and Eric didn't get along. Eric likes to poke. He walks downstairs, he likes to say something about your driving or something about that or this or that, but I've had words with Jesse a couple times.
I'm non-confrontational, so when I start clashing a little bit, I'll kind of shut down, back off.
I got all over Jesse. I did. We came here as a team to work. When I see you leave my team to go help another team, especially the #1 teams talking trash about them, you don't do that on my team. Jesse's a fun guy, you know, he goes, I help everybody. No, you came here to be on the Dream Team. Not Pinky team, not Bodie's team, and not that team. This is where you belong. That was something that was said in the house, and I brought it up. And I ain't make no stink about it. I told him he was a spy.
Dwayne's the one with the loud mouth. The rest of us, we're all a little bit more quiet, a little bit more reserved. So no matter what, it's that loud person. If I was a loud person, even without being the driver, then that same type of conflict and controversy would come up. He's got that mouth, he's got that outgoing, very aggressive attitude.
I'm an alligator, baby, a big one.
Dwayne ain't got nobody like that.
So I just got done talking with Jeff, and he assured me that this whole issue between Eric and Jesse and Dwayne isn't going to be an issue anymore. But I'm curious of what's going to happen when the pressure's turned up. Because Eric and Dwayne, dude, those guys are both alpha males. I mean, they're actually more like sharks. They're circling around food, and you know what I mean? They could lash out at each other, but what's going to happen? We'll just have to wait and see.
All I can say is I've got a great team. These guys are really working good together. They've sacrificed leaving their families for 15, 16 days to come and do this. And I just want to say that I appreciate my team doing what they're doing.
Good morning, everyone. It is time for the E3 Spark Plug Wire Challenge. What we're going to be doing is giving each one of you a set of E3 Spark Plug wires to put on said big block. And the prizes are?
An SFI harmonic balancer for your engine from PRW. PRW will also be shipping you this run stand to your shop. And the one that you all are going to enjoy and use, $250 added to your budget. Right?
Now, with all of our challenge, of course, there's going to be a penalty for whoever loses, and that will be a bit of a prehistoric surprise for each and every one of you.
What's that?
All right, so here are the rules on this competition. Each team has to assemble a set of E3 spark plug wires. They're coming raw in a box, straight wire and connectors, so they have to be assembled, and they have to be assembled in the correct length. For every inch of spark plug wire used, there's 2 seconds added to the overall time. But this competition is about speed and precision, so the spark plug wires have to be cut to the correct length. The shorter the better, but the longer they are, the more time is added. Once the spark plug wires are assembled, they have to be put on the engine in the correct order, and then the engine has to fire on all 8 cylinders. If any of the cylinders are not firing, the competition and the time continue.
Are you ready to go? Yeah. All right, let's build some plug wires.
3, 2, 1, go. For this challenge, Team Biggin called on Eric Yost and engine builder Peter Harrell to try and assemble these spark plug wires as fast as possible. They chose to build the E3 wires one by one on the workbench, which might have added some extra time, but it allowed Eric and Peter to work carefully and precisely, which is important. In this competition, strategy is going to be crucial. Some teams might be fast, some teams might be precise, but which one is going to pay off in the end, who knows? Three, 2, 1, go! Stinky Pinky has been 0 for 3 in the Horsepower Wars challenges. Dean and Jake got down and dirty and started assembling these wires as quickly as they could. Unlike Biggin, Pinky assembled their wires on the engine, trying to keep each spark plug wire as tight and as short as possible. There it is, first plug wire is on. Dean and Jake were working as carefully as possible because Papa Disco has a front row seat, and if they mess up, he could get on the popper.
No wonder I was struggling. Yeah, I got him right here.
There you go. 3, 2, 1, go. Fresh off a win on the Horsepower Wars taco eating contest, Team Bodie was ready to double up. Russ and Ben came out of the gate hard and with a completely different strategy. To get the E3 ignition spark plug wires built as fast as possible, they had a trick up their sleeve, cutting the boots. Russ sliced every single spark plug wire boot to get them assembled faster.
Russ, you're putting the wrong ends on these things.
It looks like the strategy that Russ took of cutting all the boots early on is hurting them now because all the spark plug wires are arcing all over the headers, the block, and even the distributor cap. To try and fix the arcing problem, Russ started stuffing cardboard all around the spark plug wire connections, but it didn't work. Another try, and the engine still wouldn't fire. After more than 25 minutes, Russ and Ben finally threw in the towel because they couldn't get the engine to start. This was a big blow for Team Bodie.
We got the rest of the build off. We're gonna do just fine.
Wow, dude. I mean, they were struggling for sure. I mean, this is Ben's blood. He cut his hand early on. You're bleeding, you're hurt, you're not, and this is something you gotta use your hands.
Learned a lesson on that one.
This is a tough competition. This isn't, you know what I mean? We're not making anything easy for anybody.
They couldn't start a pedal bicycle.
So I hate to use Bodie as an example, but this is a perfect spot to talk about the PRW test stand. They weren't able to get it fired, and just like you, if you're assembling an engine, a test stand like this from PRW is a perfect spot to bolt your engine up and check it and make sure everything's good before you toss it into your car. Now, our test stand has a big block Chevy with a Holley carburetor, a Holley fuel pump, and a set of Hooker long tube headers. But you can fit almost any combination onto this test stand, and I'm actually curious if I can fit a Honda engine on it.
3, 2, 1, go.
It looked like the Dream Team was firing on all cylinders because Jesse and Eric were killing it.
Right bank looks like it's on, left bank looks like it's on. We're looking for a coil wire.
That's not going to arc off anything. Just split the boot in half and drop it on them.
Don't have the right equipment to do the job, right?
All right, guys, the plug wire building challenge is finished. There was blood. Yes. Everybody did great, but we have to announce the winner. I have the prizes here, the $250 in cash, the harmonic balancer, and of course the PRW engine stand.
All right, so I'm gonna take that part of it. Unfortunately, we did have one to make it easy. Team Bodie did do the DNF, unfortunately.
That's right, buddy.
It is the
drag all y'all's asses. We'll figure out how to wire a distributor.
Now, in third place, with a total seconds time, was the Dream Team.
We wanted to win that competition so bad.
Nah, we probably got cheated.
And as we know now, Team Big N.
$250 in cash and your SFI harmonic balancer.
Our team just put it down and did what we had to do.
All right, guys, we've seen some amazing competition so far. You guys all did awesome. Unfortunately, strategies didn't work out for everybody.
And for the team in last, you guys are going to be in dyno suits for an hour.
I am jealous.
For 1 hour.
I will wear one later.
Yeah, it worked out good. We just did not want to finish last. That would not have been good.
Even though we lost the competition, the dinosaur suits was actually fun. It wasn't even a downer for us. We took it and ran with it.
Back to work.
The competition got the best of us. We weren't banking on it, so it's nothing negative for us. Obviously not a good thing, but I think we can overcome it.
Since Team Bodie didn't show up to the wrecking yard, we made them go out the next day.
Looking for some wheels. Wheels and lug nuts today.
It didn't take long for them to realize the parts might be hard to find.
Nope, 4 1/4.
Not gonna work.
Today just really wasn't their day.
We got nothing.
Looks like we're out of luck this time.
No 15-inch spares in sight.
Nope. Going home.
After hours of looking, Russ and Nick threw in the towel and headed back to the shop. Teams are in the thick of their builds, and they're focusing on getting their engines assembled today. And everyone's in a rush because time is running out.
This is how we do it. 5 fat kids in a Buick.
This is not how you would normally build an engine, standing on the back of a truck. I mean, working in dirt.
Now this is a used block here that, you know, it's been dingle ball honed, but I don't
I don't know the history of this block. I don't really know anything. I have a dial bore gauge. I have my micrometers. You know, I'm going to be over here in a little bit taking measurements and seeing what, you know, seeing if this thing is any good. I hope it's set up. I mean, we're going to be putting a lot of, don't tell anybody, we're going to put a lot of nitrous to this thing. So it should be pretty good.
Ben ran into a problem with their used camshaft. It was bent, and there was no time or budget to buy something new, so it was time to try and straighten it out.
Yeah, we've had to go backwards before we can go forwards, and that's, as an engine builder, that is pretty common. You know, there's a lot of things that aren't ever a bolt-on, you know, part numbers don't match, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. Pepe, let it eat. Bends like butter.
Team Bodie started with a used big block Chevy short block. It had a used crank and used aluminum connecting rods. Molly supplied their high compression pistons and rings with Cleveite rod and main bearings. And, to top it all off, a Summit Racing 8-inch harmonic balancer.
We're just marking where the rods are at in here. We think we may have a clearance issue. The rods might be hitting the oil pan a little bit, so we might have to get the hammer out and make some round pound marks in our demolition car here.
Ain't nothing a hammer can't fix.
We already got the name for the car. We already know what that is. In and out with the block, a lot of chips, a lot of grinding dust, a lot of cleaning, a lot of rechecking. I mean, there's a lot of labor that goes into checking all that stuff out. And where we were kind of looking at for this budget is where can we find something that is going to be close to our combination that we need to do without spending a bunch of money in labor.
Do not try this at home. Are you guys doing surgery over here? That looks like brain surgery to me.
They used ARP studs to clamp their controversial ProMax cylinder heads to the block, along with a set of used crane rocker arms and a billet roller timing set from Summit Racing to spin their straightened camshaft. Finally, E3 spark plugs and plug wires got the call to light the spark. Dennis decided to help Team Bodie, and they got the engine mounted into the G-body. The NOS nitro system was plumbed, and they topped it all off with the Pro Systems 1200 CFM carburetor and a Power Plus Hurricane intake manifold they sourced from Summit.
I do love the dash. You know, I love how Cody did a badass job wiring in that Ron Francis panel. To me, that's pretty slick.
Ron Francis provided each team with a set of their bare bones wiring kit and Pro Race switch panels, which are easy to install. Nobody likes wiring, but with Ron Francis on board, it helped these teams get their cars wired quickly. The bare bones wiring kit was the ideal starting point for these cars because they have 3 relays and 8 fused circuits. Finally, the Pro Race switch panels complete the package with air-style toggle switches.
While Bodie was bolting in their engine, the Dream Team headed to pick up some cheap used turbo hardware at CX Racing in El Monte, California.
There is a ton of different piping, exhaust, intercooler, turbos, and we're about to find out if these prices are legitimate, and if they are, I'm buying some stuff. It makes a cool little, your little ricer turbo now noises.
Right now, this is like a turbos guy's dream.
After a quick trip to CX Racing, it looked like Dwayne and the Dream Team had all the miscellaneous parts they needed. Charge pipe, blow-off valve, you name it, they had it. And I even came away with a couple things that I needed. $100 for all that piping and stuff we just picked up. And he went inside, got legitimate prices. I mean, it's legit. We gotta go. No build time, no build time. The Dream Team's engine was put together by Mike and Dwayne. They started with a 5.3-liter LM7 long block, a factory crankshaft, and a set of used Scat H-beam connecting rods.
Starting to look like an engine again.
Aero Machine bored, honed, and balanced their entire short block. Molly pistons were fitted by Dwayne, along with a full complement of ARP head studs to complete their bottom end. Factory 317 cylinder heads with comp cams dual valve springs would work perfectly with the custom comp camshaft the team won. A Summit Racing billet timing kit and a set of comp cams rocker arm trunnions finished the valve train.
All right, so here's the deal. As always, it wouldn't be Horsepower Wars if it wasn't a race. So you got Team Biggin and the Comp Dream Team both getting ready to put their motors in. I could probably make some good money doing a little side betting right now, but these guys are kind of getting into serious mode, and that's fine. I mean, we've been having fun along the way, but the reality is, you know, this is when they're going to start being cars. Theirs is basically a roller. Theirs is basically a roller. But it's time to start putting some motors in. They'll start working around the motor to get the manifolds, charge cooling tubes, all the things that they need to make their motor ready to go. So obviously, like any build, monumental moment, getting the motor in. You guys are kind of setting the pace. I know you like doing that. I know you like, look at that smile.
It's a game plan.
It's a game plan. I mean, there's always, hey man, racing has, at all levels, a psychological advantage and disadvantage that can be had. So, I mean, Dwayne's all about it. We were gonna have him talk. He basically looked at me and said, I'm done talking for right now. You guys were a little bit different. You guys are using a mid plate. And then regular mounts, right? Mounts and a mid plate?
Solid mounts and a mid plate.
Solid mount and a mid plate, okay.
The Dream Team got their engine in first. Now it's time for wiring.
First one to get the engine finished and in. Great for Dream Team.
A 75mm turbo purchased from Summit worked with a Mishimoto intercooler to stuff boost through their stock LS truck intake manifold and throttle body.
The fact that you was here first, we don't gotta say nothing. Once you leave here and go over there, and it says we was first, captions, we don't gotta say nothing. We just keep working.
Well, I'll just say this, that over the years I've noticed that there's different types of drag racers. Some of them are just purely competitive. They literally just want to win. Every time they go down the track, they want to win. They want to beat the other guy, the other lane. And a lot of them are like myself, are really interested in the technological aspect of the thing. We like understanding what makes the thing tick, why it works, why what you do makes it faster or slower. And the competitive side of it is, I would say, sometimes in my case, secondary.
Peter Harrell did some porting on Beer Money's LM7 cylinder heads.
Completely stock LS motor. And those things will make probably close to 9 or well over 8 all day and never tear up. At the end of the day, it's nuts and bolts. It's an engine like anything else, and what you do with it determines whether it's better or worse.
Another team going turbo LS was Team Biggin. They chose the same 5.3 as the Dream Team, but they believe the factory crankshaft and rods will stay together.
Did you guys half fill, 3/4 fill? How far did
Just kind of halfway. I just
halfway
up to here.
Up to the, oh yeah, you can see it right there. Right to the bottom of the lower water jacket.
Yep.
I love that it's just straight up concrete from Home Depot. It's not even block concrete from Summit.
I normally use another product because if I screw up, it'll come out. I can ship it out or machine it out. Concrete you can't. Like when this sets up, it's so good.
But it's always a monumental moment when you get the motor and tranny in. But that is nearly half of it, if that. So you saw with the other engine transmission install, they're going a little bit different plan. They got some kind of custom mounts they're gonna do to adjust where the motor's gonna be, and just they fabbed up a little tranny mount, little cross member for the tranny. Well, they're trying to figure out just, get it in there and fit. I mean, the engine is against the back of the firewall. That doesn't mean it's stuck, it just means that's where it's sitting right now. Lyle and pretty much everybody's underneath the car trying to figure out exactly what they're gonna have to do to make it work. It's the wonders of building a car in 10 days.
And Eric went to work on the turbo kit, anchoring their used Borg-Warner 75mm turbo to the chassis. Instead of going with an intercore, the team budgeted for a nitrous system to cool the hot intake charge.
The most unique part of their build was the Igloo water cooler they used as the water tank for Beer Money. Filled with ice water, it would do everything they needed to keep their turbo engine cool. Chad and Lyle had to take a field trip to a local marine and boat store to buy a bilge pump for their cooling system.
The team plumbed their water tank with Fergola -12 hose and fittings, and in some ways, Biggin was ahead of the other teams.
I think that some of the other combinations are ridiculous. And I think we'll see that play out.
I tell you right now, if my motor mounts ain't in here, we're
While the other teams were ahead of the game, Jimmy was playing catch-up. He took his engine block to Aero Machine. Hopefully it'll be finished in time.
Motley Crew, Brian Sorrells. He's a grunt worker, man. This dude will do anything, dude. Jake Burton. He's a very good welder. He's a very good fabricator. When something needs done, Jake can handle it and execute. My dad. My dad is my right-hand man. He's my confidant. He's taught me everything about drag racing. I'm following in his footsteps. I love him. He's my best friend. And he's my #1 crew member. And then we have Jimmy. Jimmy, how do I say this, man? Sometimes Jimmy is caught up in Jimmy's world.
I'm fixing to turn up for sure this weekend. Kendrick Lamar is right about the women and the weather. I don't care about the other thing, but the women and the weather is good.
Biggin, Dream Team, and Bodie all have their engines together and inside their cars, but Stinky Pinky, they don't even have their engine together yet. Jimmy, the engine builder for Stinky Pinky, he's tasked with putting it together, but I have yet to see an assembled short block.
I think he's more worried about the camera than he is actually doing work.
Oh, dude, oh, you roll through the camera. Oh, guys, right here, check this. Look what I'm working on here. I'm over here working on this. Check this out.
Our goal at hand is to build a car in 10, 12 days. Not to look cool in front of the camera and wear the same goddamn clean shirt for 3 days.
At the end of the day, I'm never physically tired. I'm always mentally tired. Like, hey, it's just time to Netflix and chill.
Are you kidding me, dude?
Okay.
I think I witnessed a dude take 4 videos of himself right there in his little shop.
I'm probably the most active on social media out of anybody on the teams, I'd say.
So if Stinky Pinky needs somebody to post on Facebook or social media, Jimmy is definitely their guy. But when it comes to the engine, he might know what he's doing, but we have no idea because it's still in pieces.
I mean, the main thing is to have a car that runs and can get to Norwalk right now. Every person on the team has something to do, and even if you don't have something to do, you need to be doing something.
I'm really nervous on whether or not he's gonna be able to get this big block Chevrolet put together.
I didn't think very deeply into it.
So Papa Disco and Jimmy don't really see eye to eye on a lot of things anyway, but when it came to the engine not being assembled, Papa Disco was about to lose his shit.
Motor ain't built. It ain't put together. He had all day this morning to get that short block together. This motherfucker had all day to crank ain't laid.
He gets pissed. My dad and Jimmy, you just feel a little bit of animosity between them.
This ain't doing nothing. He crank all day long. He worse the block. I built the motor from 8 o'clock till 12 with the heads on the son of a bitches. The 3 guys can't do it all. It's impossible. We're busting our ass and jacking around. I need plastic gauge. That dumb motherfuckers are rotating the assembly so I can clearance. Put the together.
All right, you guys got me stressed the out now. First of all, everybody's under pressure. Everybody here's under pressure. As of right now, we all feel you're not pulling your weight. You're on the phone all the time, you're Snapchatting, you're doing all this shit, okay? We gotta get this stuff done, Jimmy. And everybody feels that you're checking your phone?
Yeah.
You're checking your phone.
It's 4 o'clock.
Oh shit.
The rods, the motor, and the block were here, okay? It wasn't bored. Monday, you could have set the crank in it, checked the bearings, and checked all that shit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But now it's Friday, and you're just now doing this.
If that car doesn't run, next week it's gonna be a long ass ride home, dude.
I love you, dude. You do so much for me and my racing and my engines. I love that. My dad does so much for me, and I know you guys have always had words and always disagreed and shit.
He literally says I'm stupid.
We're gonna be nice. Listen,
I
we're gonna start this.
I built 6 or 7.
We're gonna start this 6 or 7 a week.
Yeah.
How many motors do you think I built? I'm 70 years old.
But I don't disrespect
I built motors when you was shitting pink
way before
and
that,
goddamn
and
yellow.
that's
Now
way
we're
before
done.
that, and that's great.
You hear this? We're done. We're gonna be pals. We're gonna be buddies. We're gonna get through this, okay? I'm gonna help you. Here, I'm gonna help you. You're gonna help me, and we're gonna do good.
I love you, dude.
All right. We're done.
I love you, Dad.
Whatever you do, son.
Don't kiss Jimmy, kiss me.
I mean, end of the day, we need 5 guys busting ass on that car 24/7. You know, it's not Snapchat, Instagram, straight flexing, doing shit. That car has to be done. It's not gonna get done sitting there by itself. It takes everybody to do something, you know?
See where we're at, you know, you might see a different me.
Alright, so Dean just gave me a rundown on the engine going into their Camaro. They started with a Gen 6 big block Chevy block. They put a cast Eagle crank in it and a set of Eagle connecting rods, along with a set of Molly pistons. ARP hardware through the entire engine and a set of Clevite bearings. We're talking cam bearings, main bearings, and rod bearings. And to top off the engine, they went with a set of Pro Max 317cc cylinder heads. And those are gonna flow a pretty good amount of power. Personally, I'm a little worried about the longevity of the engine in Stinky Pinky's Camaro with the massive blower and all the boost getting stuffed down its throat. But no matter what, the engine has to be together, and Jimmy's been falling short on that. Stinky Pinky's team members made up and they were ready to go back to work, but there are still a lot of issues with their budget.
Budget blown. That shit's gone.
I don't even want to talk about the budget. I could go on for probably 2-3 hours on the budget.
The cash, we're running really low because I wanted to build a roots blower, and with the roots blower, we all know that they're kind of pricey up front.
He thought it was going to be a lot easier to build a 1,000 horsepower blown big block Chevrolet drag car for 10 grand. And now he is soon finding out that it's not easy.
The clock is ticking and the last of their budget is already spent. There's still a lot of parts left to buy if they want to finish their car.
He hasn't really ordered a whole bunch, trying to nickel and dime the shit out of every little piece, which I understand you got to do that because we're on a budget. But that kind of stuff could have been done, beforehand.
Stinky Pinky is down to their last penny and they've had to dumpster dive to try and find some free parts, and they might be making a quick run to the casino to get some of their budget back.
Are we allowed to do that? If we can do that, I'm down.
Stinky Pinky left their budget to the last minute and now they're paying for it. On the other hand, Biggin is rolling and they're ready to fire up their car.
These guys are about to be the first to try to fire their motor. Who knows what'll happen? Who knows if it'll start? We're always fingers crossed.
I want to hear some noise. I heard it's trying to fire up in here. I want to hear this shit. Let's get the show on the road.
There it is.
And sure enough, Biggin's car fired right up and ran clean and smooth.
Technically, we're a day behind what we wanted to be, but we're still 2 days ahead, which is was the minimum.
After a hard day's work, they wanted to celebrate firing up the car with a 12-pack of beers.
Because that is one thing we are pretty well known for, is having lots and lots of really cold beer.
Coming up next.
7:24, team check-ins, Biggin, take one.
We're a little bit behind schedule, but not too bad.
678. Ring shut off, and Jimmy never hit the record button.
I was checking the strap.
Yeah.
We hit it before I hit green. Did you actually? I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it again.
Whose idea was it to do this thing? Was this your idea? To do this?
No. You want to hear a little poem real quick? Yeah. I got a poem for these other teams out here. All right. How about that? All right. You need to go to college for years and years to get this sort of literary background. Okay. This is for the other teams out there. Roses are red. Violets are blue. My team's going to outrun your team by like 6.5 bus lengths. And there is nothing that you can do.